Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. I'm going to be doing my finale to the No Pan Left Behind challenge. I started this about the middle of this year because I wanted to make sure that I was touching every single eyeshadow pan that I have in my collection before the end of the year. I only have like a little over 20 palettes in my collection. So it wasn't super overwhelming, but I just wanted to make sure that I was getting use out of everything in my collection. Last update, I rolled in 5 new palettes to work on. They're all pretty neutral palettes, so spoiler, I did hit all of my pans, and a lot of the times I actually used quite a few pans more than one time just because they were just so easy to use and to incorporate in a lot of different looks. I am filming this quite a bit later in the month than I typically do. I like to have this update live on my channel on the 1st of every month. I am filming this on December 18th, I think today is, because I had my wisdom teeth taken out earlier this month, yada yada yada. I said that in, I think, the last few updates. So I'm trying not to repeat myself, but my filming was just a little delayed this month. Even though I, had my surgery and had quite a bit of no makeup days, I was able to fit in the last few shadows in the last week or so. Some of these shades I don't have pictures for because I kind of mixed them with other palettes, and like I said, they're all so neutral that I really don't remember what looks I used them in, but I know 100% that I did use them. The first palette that I have here is my NARS Climax palette. I think I only had like half of this palette left to use, and it was mostly the greens and the blue in this palette. So I'll just show you the green look that I created with this palette. I thought it was really beautiful, and that is really the reason that I got this palette in the first place, was for the greens and the grungy shades. And then recently I did a look with this blue shade here mixed with the next palette that I'm going to be talking about, which is the ColourPop Mandalorian palette. And with that blue shade, I used this whole row here and this shade to blend out my crease, which I really loved that look. And then all the other shades in this palette I used in a look that I recreated from Carolyn Nicole. It was really easy to use this palette. It's a little intimidating for me because the shades are so dark, but yeah, I thought it was really, really pretty, and I love the silver blue look I created. The next palette was the Tori Bell Flat Earth. This is a palette full of matte shadows, and this is one of those where I know I used all of them multiple times, more than once. I just don't know exactly what looks to share. If I do, if I'm going through my photo album and I can tell, then I will share it. But a lot of the times I use this, in my crease. I use these to deepen a look. Of course, I use this to like deepen the outer corner, things like that. This I use all over my lid to set my concealer. So it's a really nice palette to have in my collection, just if I need these shades, but it might be repeats. I might take a look and see if these shades are repeated in any other palettes that I have. But yeah, it was good. The next palette is also from Tori Bell, and it's the All That Shimmers palette. This one I decapitated. No, this one I actually depotted 3 of the shades. I'll throw up a picture of what it's supposed to look like, but I am decluttering this, but I wanted to keep these bottom 3 shades, so I took them out. This shade has absolutely no payoff. This shade is a repeat in my collection and it's just not special. And same with this shade. I did not care for this palette at all, so I'm going to declutter it. I attempted to use these, but they didn't really work out. And then the last palette that I was working on is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. I don't really need to say a lot of this because everybody knows how amazing it is. And it's going to be hard for me to show pictures. I know I did an all pink look with this beautiful Bloom Rose Quartz and Pearl. I know I recently did like an all silver look with I think Twig, Slate, and Cyborg. More than likely deepened my crease with like this shade or this shade. I've used birch in my crease many times this past like month and a half. And then I know I did a look with like Ember and Steampunk layered together, and then Cinder and Teak layered together. So I just did a bunch of neutral looks, which this palette just lends itself to. And it's just really beautiful for the winter time, and I love it. There's my quick update. I'm really happy that I was able to touch all of my eyeshadow palettes before the end of the year, and I'm really happy with all the looks that I created, other than the one from that palette that I'm decluttering. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this finale. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I encourage you to subscribe if you're not already. So I see you in my next video.